Hello, we are week 7, and we are going to be presenting on IBM Watson and MD Anderson Cancer Center. You have Jonathan, Grant, and myself, Sheena Marshall. IBM was founded in 1911, offering its clients technology products and solutions in the cloud services and big data. The company employed more than 377,000 people and reported 81.7 billion in revenue. MD Anderson Cancer Center was founded at the University of Texas in 1941. It was the first comprehensive hospital affiliated with a major university. MD Anderson Cancer Center overall mission was to uncover knowledge and share discoveries about cancer research. The collaboration, IBM and MDACC discussed a partnership to apply cloud computing technology to increase cancer care, quality, and access. June 18, 2012, MDACC and IBM agreed to explore ways to pilot Watson technology at MDACC. October 2012, MDACC and IBM began developing a plan to build a flagship informatic tool. October 2013, OEA was announced and its potential capabilities to tackle the most challenges in cancer diagnosis. The OEA development had 3 core elements: to collate patient records, academic lecture, and clinical notes into one portal. The OEA portal was also designed to mimic peer-to-peer consultation, use ML algorithms to build a patient profile and medical history, outputs of patients' recommendations, and treatments for clinical trials. In preparation for OEA, the first integration of OAE focused on leukemia. The team programmed OEA with over 23 million summaries from medical journals and MDACC materials, predetermined test scenarios to mimic the clinical environment. Once completed, the OEA will be ready to use in real time. As many researchers began to using the tool, the OAE, they determined that it was unsuccessful. There was a lot of system failures. 85% of the users cited inaccurate or unclear or incomplete data. The rationale of the recommendations were unsupported by evidence.
Hello everyone, I'm Jonathan Gentry, and in this section we're going to talk about the main problem that the case is trying to address, the problem to humans, and kind of the situation around that. So the main problem that they're trying to address is cancer diagnosing. And what I mean by that, and like what problem is there with cancer diagnosing, is that they have an issue where if they're diagnosing somebody and they're too early, they're getting a bunch of false positives. And these false positives are very traumatic to families, right? So you'll get into a doctor's office, you'll get these false positives, and then the doctor's telling the family, hey, you know, there's a chance you have cancer, yada yada. And anytime the C word's brought up in the doctor's office is always going to be traumatic, not only for the patient but for their family. And you know, double-edged sword though, if they are late on diagnosing and the cancer has spread or developed or anything like that, you know, the odds of survival go down. So you're losing out a lot of time fighting the cancer if you don't discover it early. But if you're continuously just crying wolf saying, hey, you have cancer, and then it doesn't turn out to be, you're inflicting unintentional harm on the family. And that's kind of the overarching problem that they're trying to fix within this case. The possible fix for their diagnosing issues is OEA. Now, OEA was talked about earlier in the presentation, but as a brief description of it, OEA was the attempt of the medical field and basically AI or IBM to mix and be able to help patients from all around the world have access to the best knowledge and care possible. The goal here was somebody in Nebraska could walk in to their primary care physician basically, and if the doctor needed to, he could put this person's case into OEA, and OEA could help the doctor basically establish what's going on here to help diagnose him and give that doctor access, and quickly give the doctor access to the best information possible, acting almost like peer-to-peer review. So with the OEA, they've been able to successfully go forward with the lung and leukemia portions of it. So what's the problem with OEA? And a lot of the problems are just the time-consuming nature of OEA, the high costs around it, and the high opportunity costs. So breaking these down is required workflow changes. So when you're looking at workflow changes, you're basically changing the way an operation runs. And you're asking a doctor's office to basically change how they treat every single case now when you want to change it all to run this specific way. So it's very hard to implement because you're expecting buy-in from other people. Incredibly high, it costs a lot to do this, to consecutively do this. It requires time to do it. It's got a high cost to implement, even at, I was talking about the doctor from Nebraska. It's got a high cost for him to be able to implement this. So high cost goes in there. High opportunity cost. Doctors who are trying to implement this are spending hours of their day trying to get this OEM to work. Instead of doing research, instead of furthering medicine, they are trying to apply this to lessen the load to doctors rather than going out there and discovering new things. So with a high opportunity cost and taking some of our best minds away from furthering, um, it does come with a cost, and the time consuming nature of it. Um, the article talks about how at a certain point doctors are spending an hour or two of their days just putting in electronic information into the OEA rather than being out there and helping patients. Um, so there are quite a few issues that come along with the OEA.
So in this slide, what we'll be talking about is another project extension, the right move for MDACC. So another project extension we believe is the right move for MDACC, and there's a variety of factors that play into this. So the extension helps improve the quality, quantity, and speed of breaking down large data sets. If it was just a human or a doctor sitting there reviewing notes, reading articles, it would take an undescribable amount of hours to break down data, whereas it's shown in previous extensions that this data can be broken down a lot faster when an extension is in place. This also allows for wider ranges of trials to get information, such as gender, race, and age. If a specific doctor was just going off of previous experiences with a certain gender, race, or age, it'd be a lot smaller range than what an extension is able to access. It's able to access any of these and all of them. There are downsides to extensions, so recommendations from other projects don't always match with doctors. Um, there can be errors when data is entered. The extensions can't always interpret stuff the way doctors do, but it does a pretty good job the majority of the time. Extensions are also very expensive. There's initial cost, and then there's also recurring cost. You have to train people to use the products and extensions, and then you also have to um, test them, which takes time, resources, people, and the extensions take a lot of time commitments, as I said, such as the training for all of this and learning how to use it and learning what to look for. It can be a great tool when used correctly, but if people don't know how to use it, it won't be a great asset. but we do believe that a project extension is the right move for MDACC. So in this, we'll be discussing should MDACC continue to partner with IBM Watson if they do continue to extend. So we believe MDACC should continue to partner with IBM Watson as they continue to grow and advance in new areas. So a few reasons for this is IBM has a wide range of competitive advantages and they're constantly innovating. They've been around for over 100 years, and throughout that time they've went through many different trends and continue to innovate and adapt to new markets, and they're constantly finding ways to help their partners. Their technologies have very advanced capabilities and, like I said, continue to improve. The ability to break down big data will be a huge help for MDACC, as we've discussed. Just breaking down new information they find with patients and doctors, and being able to analyze all of it is going to continue to help MDACC. That won't just stop. So MDAC wants to improve their research and treatments as they're trying to break into new areas of research. And quote from the case is, "Technology and innovation are the instigators for change." So as MDACC wants to change the way treatments are done, improve them, help people who are going through hard times, they're going to need to use technology. And IBM, as far as we know, IBM gives them the best chance to innovate, and the technology itself won't make change. But when you have the doctors and resources that MDACC does have, combined with the innovation that IBM Watson has, when you combine those, there's a lot of change and innovation that can take place to improve the lives of many, many people and improve the effectiveness of MDACC as a whole, and improve all of their separate units as well as they continue their research into the best treatments to help patients.